Hello, you. I'm Laila Stancioff, your host, and welcome to the Find You podcast, From Sick of It to Simply You. Here, our guests will tell us about their transformational journey and challenges they have faced. You also learn tips and strategies on how to do it yourself. Ready for some inspiration? Let's start. Bea Salomma is a personal brand style coach. However, her career did not start there. At 36, she went from a managerial position back to student to pursue her dream. Would you have the courage to do that? Let's see how she did it. So Bea, it's very nice to have you here. How are you doing?
Very good, I must say. We have a storm today in Netherlands. It's called Code Red.
Oh, wow.
So it's like daily life comes back, to us in July. So instead of summer, we are back to November.
Oh, wow. Well, sorry for you, but summer will come back.
No, but we are used to it. So it's like we treat it like, okay, we just go on the bike, put children to school, come back and have a nice tea.
Very nice. Okay, so you have an interesting story. You went from having a managerial position in a corporation to going to a completely new field, becoming a student again. So tell me a little bit how that happened.
So this is actually, when I'm coming back to the story, always makes me smile because it's like a big revolution. So I worked more than 12 years in a corporate world, in publishing houses, having, climbing up the corporate ladder. And then because of changes on the publishing market, or everything went online, so restructure in the company I worked, I lost my job. So this was like a big shock at the beginning because it's never nice. It's a little bit like, what's next? What do I want to do? And then you come back a little bit to your dreams, to your passions. What do I really always dreamt about? What am I ready for? And then I was, I think, already 35. So I was settled. My life was comfortable. I had everything what I needed to have. Actually, I didn't have a family then. So I always remember I dreamt to have a family, to have children. Didn't happen. I was really focused on my professional life. And then, when it happened and I lost my job, I started to think, what's next? And then I remember I was thinking, I always wanted to do fashion. I was creative, but I never dared to go into, fulfill your dreams. I studied economy actually to be on the safe side. So I have master in economy to have a job, to earn good, to be safe, to be comfortable. But then I was thinking I would take a risk this time in my life. If not now, then when? And this is the beginning of the story.
And was it difficult to make that decision?
It was I remember when I was thinking about this decision, I was thinking that it's not really happening. It's like I'm still thinking as of a dream. It will never happen. But what helped me? I had a coach. Somebody recommended me a coach at that moment. And actually, I knew this man, and we just agreed that we do a coaching 3 months, and he will guide me. We will see what's really in my heart, what's sitting there. And it was first time I experienced coaching in my life. And amazing thing was that he was just asking me questions, and I was answering. So I had all my answers inside of me. So it was really empowering. And I remember he asked me a question: if everything would be possible, no limits, how you would proceed with your dream? And I was like, okay, I would find all over the world schools of fashion, universities, and I would decide. And he said, so please prepare the list of all the universities all over the world from fashion. And this was the first step. And I went really like, New York, Amsterdam, Florence, everywhere. So I really felt like I have no limits. I just play. It's like I felt like a kid in the playground. But actually, it was a dangerous play because it started to be more serious. The next step was to travel. So I just traveled. So I decided to stay in Europe. So I traveled to Florence, to Amsterdam to check these universities. But still, I felt I'm still in the field of playing, you know? I'm relaxing. I could afford to have a little bit time without work. So I could, you know, work on myself. And then I went to Florence, and then I went to Amsterdam for 1 week. And I knew already that there will be something happening soon. So I decided to go for Amsterdam. And it was a huge decision. I can tell you, until the 1 week before I was packing myself, I didn't still believe that I'm doing this. You know, leaving my house, renting my house in Poland, packing my life in one suitcase, 23 kilos. And I was really laughing. 23 kilos, it's my life now, you know. All this, I bought like purple suitcase. I packed, and my friend lived in Amsterdam, and she offered that for first weeks before I find an apartment, I can live with her, which was amazing because I could have somebody to talk to, you know, to feel a little bit not alone. But this is how it happened. But it was really still like, until the end, I didn't believe it's happening. It's really strange feeling that you decide to revolutionize your life, but still you feel like, I don't know if it's true. You know, it's like this big dream which comes true at the end.
I can relate to that feeling. Almost 10 years ago, I moved from Brazil to Latvia. And my grandmother's from here, so she was always telling about Latvia. And it was like, I've never been here before actually moving, so I just moved. Also, well, I had two big suitcases, two of 32, so my life was a little bit bigger. But I remember the day I was traveling, this feeling of everything staying behind. I don't know when I'm coming back because it's a big distance. It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
And I also don't know what's happening tomorrow. So it was like the weirdest day in my life, I think, of being in between.
But it's very interesting that you are saying this, because actually my plan, actually I didn't have a plan, but I was thinking, I will see if I like it. After 1 year, I leave my doors open to come back. Because I was already really experienced. I had a special like individual study program that I could immediately start to have internships to work in fashion, but also I didn't have some subjects. So business subject I was not following because I was experienced in business. So I was thinking maybe after 1 year I'm done and I have some experience and I some knowledge in fashion and I'm coming back. But never happened. So it's also, I think, nice to be open, not to be so like, oh, I need to stay here forever, because maybe you will not like it. And I was like, I don't know if I like it. First impression was good, but you know, I think when like me, I was 35, so you are settled in your thinking, in the culture you live in, and then all of a sudden you change the place. People behave different, the culture is different, so it's a little bit cultural shock also, I would say. It's like, oh my God, how can it be? Everybody is really having different attitude, which is actually eye-opening, and it's, I think, for everybody good to experience. But not having like fully planned to come back or being also open, I think it's a clue.
Yeah, that's a very good tip, and it's very reasonable, realistic. I mean, yeah, having the safety net that if it's okay to come back. I remember to also be told, like, if you don't adapt, you can come back. It's not a failure, you know, it's okay. And at that point,
it's an experience.
It's an experience. And at that point, I came actually working in a religious organization, and they were saying, like, even if you need to come back, you were generous, you went, like, you know, so don't. And I was totally convinced I'm going to stay here forever, but there was this clear opening. If you need to come back at any time, like there's no problem.
Yeah.
And how was the change of going from, you know, a full-time job in corporate to become a full-time student now? Well, you said you were also working since the beginning, so it's not exactly full-time.
Yeah, but still I was a student. So this was really, I think, the biggest effort I needed to put into, you know, mental adjustment. That when I met my life partner, then actually he met me as a student. He never knew me from the time before. And I really know how I did it, that we go into the role when you enter the corporate world. Once you know, enter the office, you are in the role of being a manager, of being an employee, whatever role is, we are in a role. So I feel like I switched the roles to be a student, but it's like a huge gap, you know, being from being responsible, managing everything what's around. Under, you know, under the system of the university, I need to adjust. So I really needed to work on it to be more open, again, open mind. But it was also in a way funny for me that all the people who met me when I moved to Amsterdam, they didn't know me from before. And I was such a different person. But it opened a lot of doors because your mind opens, opportunities open, and you just accept what's coming. You don't put yourself in the small, you know, basket that you are only this, you can be this and that. But I need to say I needed to adjust. I needed time to switch my mind.
Yeah, people met you already on your new timeline, kind of. So yeah, that must be very.
So old friends, they know me different. New friends, they just have a part of me. Now it's a little bit different after all these 10 years. It's more like, you know, balanced, aligned. But this, I can remember the first year, I can tell you, I was shocked.
But your partner, he's like your age, or?
No, he's older.
He's older.
He's 9 years older, but actually also it shows the difference in the culture, because 9 years older in Netherlands, still you are younger than the attitude of some people in Poland. The attitude of people, yeah, you know, yeah, they get younger even though they are older, because lifestyle is different. Everything is different. So it's also very interesting to see that actually, for what I've noticed, for men, life, like family life, starts here 45, 50.
Oh, wow.
Once in Poland, it's 30, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When people think to build a family, to think about life in a different way, to build this together, here is different.
Yeah, Poland is very traditional. Very
traditional.
I mean, at least from the people I know, very Christian, very family.
Yes, it was. Yes, I remember when I was a child, everybody was going to the church on Sunday, you know, besides my parents. So they were sending us, you know, but they were not going themselves. But the roots are really in the, like, you know, the religion. So then you grow and then you start to have your own opinion. Do I want to believe? What do I want to believe in? But then you are 18. But until then, you are really like, you grow up in this environment of religion.
Yeah, it's part of life.
Tradition. Yeah.
Part of life. Yeah. Okay. What are the most difficult things of when you had the shift of becoming a student and started a new profession?
I think just adjusting to something new, that when you know that you were in charge. So like in my case, I was responsible for a lot of things. I was in charge of a lot of things, managing few departments. And all of a sudden, you don't have these responsibilities, and actually you think like it was part of your life, and you are used to it. So now you are responsible only for yourself, but at the end you rely on the new system, on the new culture, or the new university and new rules. So this was for me the most difficult, from this independence into dependence in a way, but still independence. So it's really difficult to say, because you gain independence in the different areas of your life, because you are free to choose. I can decide I'm moving from Amsterdam and I'm going to New York. You know that there is nothing holds you, because you can resign from that what you have when you already made first move. But on the other hand, there is still these restrictions, because there are rules in the university you want to follow, and you are adult enough that you don't want to follow any rules anymore. So I think this was for me the biggest part, as an adult being a student, you know, with students who were like from 17 to 20 something. You also open mind for other ways of thinking. But I remember there was one student who was close to my age, and then we were friends immediately, but we were friends also with others. But there was like a huge age gap in between 70 and me 35. 17, 35, 25, 35, it's already closer. But interesting experience, I must say.
And what were the things you like the most, like the best thing of going through this change?
I think the fulfilling your dream finally, that this dream was somewhere always at the back of my mind as something it will never happen, because I knew, like, I have a serious job. I love fashion. I love style. I love colors, but it will be always something when I dream about what I dream about. And then when finally you realize that it's happening, I remember that one night that I couldn't sleep. I was waking up because I started to design my own collection. And I was waking up at night and I was like, I don't believe it's happening. I really don't believe it's really happening. And this is a little bit this excitement, like when you have fear, and the excitement is actually the same feeling as fear, but it's on the other part of the scale. So it was so intensive as a little bit fear, but it was this positive excitement that I did it. I did it. And it's like you of course you check, will it be working, will it not be working, but at least that you try. And I really had this feeling, I will never tell myself I've never tried it. I always dream about that, but I never tried it. So I know I feel like this was meant to be in a way. So you are your own boss of your life. Also, you manage, you create your life. So I really felt that at that moment. That, okay, I was thinking, okay, this is true. Actually, I created this all. I made this first step. I bought this ticket, one-way ticket to Amsterdam. I rented my house and I left all my comfortable life, even though it would be very easy for me to find another job in the same area what I was doing, and proceed with that. But I felt with all my body, this is the time. And I really felt also like 35, if I don't do it now, I will not do it probably when I'm 60 or 55, which is not true when I'm saying this now. I was thinking that moment, because I think when you do it when you are 35, you can do it also when it's 50. But then, of course, I was thinking, like, now I need to do it. This is time. And also I knew I want to have a family. I knew that when I make any changes, this is the best time to do it without family yet. I always knew I want to have a family. I want to have a partner. So I knew that I never want to be this, a ship alone sailing on the sea. So I felt like, okay, let's do it now. And the feeling that I did it, it's amazing. That I took really huge risk. But is it really a risk? I'm thinking now. And now of course, it's easier for me to say. But that moment I felt like I know nothing and I'm just doing this. Also changing, it's not only change of countries. It's also change of your professional life. When you start from the scratch, I didn't even know if I would like to work in fashion. Maybe I just love fashion as a hobby. Maybe I will not be, maybe it's something not for me. Maybe it's a lot of question marks was there. And I know already that, when you follow your heart, then it's not without the reason that you have this desire. That desire is actually looking for you. It's not only that you are looking for your desire, both ways. So there was something in the air already that I knew that this is my path.
That's very interesting. Yeah, this knowing that I really did go for it. I didn't just, let my dream pass my whole life. And it's true, having done that before, you have the kids around, that does make life a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Because you have 3 kids now, right?
Yeah, we have 3 kids, and also it went also very fast. But also, for me, this also shows when you follow what you love, the rest follows you. All my life I really wanted to have like a happy family. And then when I met my Mark after half a year being here, we were friends, and then we fell in love, and I never was back to Poland. And then after a while, after 3 years, we had 3 children. We have 3 children, so it went very fast. And I really feel the beginning of the story when I followed my heart. It's also the continuation that the rest came. When I was just ready, I was aligned with myself. I decided to take the first step, and then family happened also. So And I remember that moment when I was thinking, like, now I'm just doing fashion. I just forget about the rest. I'm just focusing on fashion. And I couldn't focus anymore because I was in love.
That
So
happened.
life happens, right?
Why fashion?
I always had this creativity somewhere around me. I never dared to really go into it. I think I really had very clear in my mind that you need to have a stable job, which is not creativity. That's why economy, that's why business, that's why I was climbing the ladder very quickly to have this financial freedom, which in my mind then didn't go with creativity. So this was something I never believed in my life that I can do it. I was asked very often about all my friends, people around, about fashion choices, styling, colors. So I feel it was my natural talent, but I never dared to follow. Sometimes you are lucky with friends who are around you. My best friend, she was really pushing me. She was like, you need to do something with that. So I always feel like not without the reason, we have close people around. And she was the one, she was like, try it, do it. And I was like, I will not do it, and then you start thinking, I always had people somewhere like pushing me a little bit, like, try it, you can do it. And I was doing this and I was like, okay, this is really my thing. I will do it. Also, I will work in fashion. Not only I will do fashion somewhere, because I started when I still was in Poland, I started to do photo shoots. I started to do styling. I didn't do designing because this I've learned when I studied. But I did it as a hobby. And then I felt like this creativity is somewhere which is really deep in myself, but never actually went out. When I was a child, I never did anything creative. I think I was always very like grounded, I do what's needed to be safe in a way. And then when I was older, I was like, yes, I can be creative and I can do it. And then I found that I really have the flow. Then when I really opened my heart and my mind as well.
What I really like about fashion is, well, in one of my books, one of the things I mentioned when I'm talking about being comfortable with yourself is really learning these things about color, body shape, and all of that, because that does make so much of a difference. And sometimes the person is thinking, oh, I'm ugly, there's something wrong with me. And maybe she just has the wrong, color that makes her look sick.
Yeah,
And
this is very interesting that you are saying
it
this.
really
Yeah.
empowers the person.
Yeah, and this is a next layer I'm discovering, working with clients now, because it's most of the time I'm focused on women. So I'm focused on, like, we know the best, and women who are female entrepreneurs. So how this influences their business, not only how you feel, but also how you show yourself outside. So this is actually amazing tool which helps you to, I call it also to build your power items, to have this empowerment from just what you are wearing. If you know exactly what are your colors, you don't need to even wear a makeup. If you know what are your shapes, you just know what to buy, what not to buy. You just have this, you don't need to have a huge wardrobe, you don't need to have a lot of items. And this is where the psychology of fashion also comes. The first impression, how you impress others, how you are served, also how you show yourself. It's a lot of layers. So, or even color psychology. So this is where I'm going today. So I'm taking this fashion, the styling, the colors, and I'm adding psychology into it to go deeper. And when you see how much it influences others, then it's just for me this confirmation that I'm on in a good direction, that these choices I've made were for something, there was a meaning behind, which I'm discovering all the time. But actually last 3 years, when I started to do it as my business, it's I think the confirmation for me.
Yeah, there's so many fields that you have different ways of using them, and you can bring so much empowerment to women. The other day I watched lecture of the first women plastic surgeon in Latvia. And well, my first thought about plastic surgery, especially, seeing the things that are kind of in fashion to do here, like, why do people do that? But her speech impressed me a lot because she was saying, that for her, that's a way of creating art, but she works with live material. It's her, she's doing sculpture in the people, but she was also saying you should not do a plastic surgery because your partner wants you to be different or because the fashion says it and people are doing it. You're the one who's going to live with your body your whole life. So, do it for you if you feel it inside. And I really like this other way of looking into plastic surgery. Like, do you feel like you want to have something different for you, independing on what all the rest, wants? So it's very nice to really take these different fields and see how does it make me be more me. Be through
This is amazing that you are mentioning this. Yeah. Because Cybernetics, it's a book like I think from 60s, where the plastic surgeon really, he says about what you are saying, but he adds also self-image. So he discovered that some people don't need plastic surgery. It's what they need to change. It's a thinking about themselves. That sometimes when they were after surgery, nothing has changed for some people. Some people were really like uplifted, empowered, like finally I have this perfect nose. But some people felt no change. So he discovered that actually what we think about ourselves, that's why what you are saying also, like you need to want it, not anybody else, because it will not work at the end. But when we go to plastic surgeries, for me, it's like the next step, because we can achieve a lot working on our head, mind, and thinking just by dressing up the way we are. Like first discover who you are, and then putting this into words. I always call it to have your brand essence, a personal brand essence, and translating this into color patterns. This, like, wonders happen. Like it when I see sometimes my clients, I'm smiling like, oh my God, this is so important. Even though sometimes even I sometimes think like, are clothes important? We all have this, like, is it important? I can say trends are not important until you know how to use them. Don't let them use you. When you know your body shape, your colors, just take whatever needed in trend. But then I'm coming back and I'm thinking like, oh my God, the power of clothes, it's limitless.
It's a very good tool to be simply you once you find out who you are.
Once you find out who you are. And I think that this is where you enter with your coaching to find out who you are. And then I enter to translate it into clothes, patterns, and colors. So this is amazing how it's all actually connected. And I think it's like a journey of personal development journey for everybody. And I don't know if you have also this impression that I discovered once I started to have my own business, that actually having your own business is better than therapy. Because it's like your constant growth, constant transformation. You discover all the layers also of who you are and who you are not, what you want, what you don't want. So it's all interconnected. It's all our life, from corporation into being a student and then having your own business and children.
Yeah, I've been through all of those. I'm gonna go through having children very soon, hopefully. We're adopting kids. But yeah, having your own business is really a very interesting experience.
Very interesting experience. And I would not change it, I would say, but I'm learning a lot of patience also. I'm learning a lot of limiting beliefs as well. So I think, I don't know if you agree, in the transformation journey, you need to embrace all of this. There are highs and lows. Like in every evolution, when we change something, we need to adjust to the change. And every change in our life, it's like something new. And some people are really easier adjusting to new. Some people more, it's more challenging, but it's always a part of the journey.
Yeah, transformation is always happening, and it comes with so many different dimensions. Yeah.
Actually, every day, right? We can say.
Yeah. For us to close, what would you say to the women that might be listening that, they have their dreams, and how would you tell them that it's not too late to go after your dreams?
I think I'm a good example that it's never too late. And sometimes we need support. So I think I can tell you, Laila, sometimes that I'm very grateful for this coach and 3 months with my coach, because I really feel that might happen that without this opening of my, desire even more, I don't know where I would be today. So sometimes it's friends also, talking to friends, sharing your dreams with people, and then you really start living this and making this first choice. And I would say, in my case, booking a ticket. So even making like one small things which brings you close to the dream, because when you do this one more thing, small thing, the rest happens. You really know, it's like a little bit planting a seed with doing the smallest things which really brings you closer.
Yeah, the more you align with yourself, more alignment you allow to happen.
Exactly.
Very
well said.
Thank you very much for being here. This was very interesting. Maybe some other day we talk about, your journey of becoming a mother. And yeah, it was very nice having you.
Yes, thank you, Laila, for having me as well.
You just listened to the Find You podcast, from Sick of It to Simply You. It was wonderful to have you here. Stay tuned for the next episodes.